Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's informal session being hosted by Sci-ROI Global and Wednesday Forward with Dr. Rajiv Janardhanan from SRM IST. So SRM IST, which is the SRM Institute of Science and Technology, is located in Chennai, India, and I just heard that they have other associate campuses as well, and Dr. Janardhanan will talk about it more. But they are actively looking to host Ramanujan or Ramalingaswami or Wellcome Trust-DBT India Alliance, all of which are re-entry fellowships. They are looking to host the potential applicants at their institute. So today's session is the ideal platform for Sci-ROI members who are actively looking to relocate back to India to start their independent position as at a research institute. So Dr. Rajiv Janardhanan, who is with us today, is a Dean of Research and Faculty of Medical and Health Sciences at SRM IST. He recently joined in, I think, at the end of 2021. But prior to this, he was the director of Amity Institute of Public Health and a professor at Amity Institute of Biotechnology. And he did his Ph.D. in Microbial Ecology from Delhi University and was a research fellow of Mayo Clinic in Translational Research before starting his independent career. So today he will discuss about SRM IST's premier infrastructure and research facilities in medical and engineering domains and answer any questions you might have regarding their support for potential fellowship applications and successful recipients. So without further ado, Dr. Janardhanan, the stage is all yours.
Thank you so much for inviting me, Monali, to be a part of this conversation. I would use this word. Trust me, I've been through this journey. Good morning, all of you. And if I could have a face to your names, it would be nice. Conversations are quite impersonal if the screens are off. So if it's comfortable for you, please keep your cameras on so that I have a name to the face to the name, if I may put it rightly. Thank you. I really appreciate this thing. For many of you, it's very early in the morning, so I should thank you for sparing your valuable time to interact with me. And I sincerely appreciate the effort. And I can't tell you that I'm pretty excited to be with all of you to share, let me say, my pitfalls as I translated from being a postdoc in a translational laboratory at Mayo Clinic to being a full-fledged faculty, and then eventually translating into a so-called leadership position. I don't know what is the kind of general strength, and if people are, most of the people in the audience from the biology fora, or are there other disciplines as well, people who have other disciplines? May I have some kind of a response so that it will easily help me to streamline my conversation? Yes, biology. Okay, Sumit Mukherjee is biology. Anybody else? Thanks. Yeah, thanks, biology.
From biotech.
Thank you. Priya, thank you so much. Thank you. Who else? Thank you, Nabarun. Appreciate. Okay. Looks like majority of them are biology. Okay. We have Vivek, Sanu who says civil engineering. Okay. We can take care of that. Maybe if you could come forward and just talk about what is the kind of specialization you have. One of the things I would, before I start, I would want to tell you is the kind of research, although translational, which is there in the United States, and the one which is happening in India is going to be slightly different. Remember, the fundamental difference is that we are living in a resource-limited healthcare ecosystem. The 21st century is an era of biology and its related problems, which form the vortex about quality of life, since reasonable advancements in technology have led to quantity of life, significant improvements in the average life expectancy with respect to quantity of life. So a variety of problems from middle age to geriatric problems are also happening in India as we talk. And coinciding with this, India is a strange country of opposites. Like this is a country where malnourishment grows along in the same boat with obesity. Both are different kinds of malnourishment. So you can pick and choose a problem which would ideally, preferably have some specificity to the local populace, wherever you want to be. Suppose you're coming to Chennai or anything, it might be a good idea to tweak your problem to serve the needs, because that will help you essentially to get a better understanding and also a better score when you apply for your re-entry fellowships. Because since COVID-19 has happened, the government of India is looking at means and ways to collect evidences from the community with respect to emergent sources of epidemics, to emergent sources of pandemics, or lurking epidemics, which could spurt out and contribute to a pandemic like COVID-19 or something like that, because which will help the, say, the local, regional, national, or global administrators. This has become all the more important as we move into post-COVID era, because even though we talk about the demographic transition from communicable to non-communicable diseases in the last 2 decades, what we are facing is the unfinished agenda of communicable diseases with non-communicable sequelae. So I will just walk you through some of the simple the 13-14 slide presentation, which will enumerate some of the facilities available at SRM MHS and also SRM IST as a whole for people who want to pursue an independent career in biological domain. One of the things I need to tell you is SRM has got campuses in other states of India as well. It has a campus in Haryana, so near Sonipat. It has in Delhi, Ghaziabad, though it is mostly focused on engineering. We have a campus in Sikkim, which is Northeast. And we also have a campus in Amravati, which is Andhra Pradesh, near Vijayawada. And and the primary campus is actually Katankulathur campus. We have other campuses in Ramapuram. We have 3 medical colleges currently. The primary one, I mean, I would use the word hospitals. 2 of them are medical colleges. That is the one at Katankulathur and the one at Trichy. And we have a corporate hospital, which is at SIMS Hospital, which is in the heart of Chennai. That is Vadapalli. And what we have seen is the trend is, while many of the private universities talk about infrastructure development and all those things, one of the things which has formed the tenet for SRM to be a premier institute is its investment into serious research facilities. And I don't know how many of you, Manali has forwarded the PowerPoint presentations vis-a-vis the Word document as well as the video, which showcase the different kinds of facilities. So it's very important to walk into an institute. If those, like many of you are biologists, and if they are having their graphs in the biomedical domain or bioengineering domain or anything, having a hospital or access to medical or biological samples or human samples is a very important aspect to continue your research interests unhindered as you translate from one country to another. We have had the good habit of securing big prestigious grants, like way back in 2014, 12 or 13, we secured the DBT platform at that time, which was the largest grant. It's a 9-storied building with state-of-art facilities, and I'll show you some of it in the slides with NGS and all the latest facilities, even the microscopy facilities available. And we are in the process of developing a transgenic animal house with capabilities to do different experiments. We are in the process of rapidly filing very important and strategic collaborations with institutes in different corners of India. Like next week, I'm going to be the nodal person for signing an MOU with Shankara Netralaya. And through it is going to be a tripartite agreement with Vision Research Institute and Medical Research Institute and SRM to facilitate academics and research. We are signing MOUs with Malabar Cancer Center, Regional Medical Research Center, Bhubaneswar, which is a ICMR center, KGMU, to name a few. And we have BHU, IMS BHU, and Anna University, and some other universities in the Western part of India also in the anvil. The whole idea is to create the rationale and a platform to have multi-centric projects. This is something very important because India, unlike other countries, has a vast, wide variation in genetic base and 5 different centers of origin with divergent socio-cultural norms and diets and lifestyle choices, which govern the genetic predisposition to different kinds of diseases. And that would play an excellent role in playing an important role in defining what we are looking for in terms of a research question as we translate. And I have been working, in my previous institute also. One of the things I realized that government as well as the funding agencies, primarily Department of Science and Technology, Indian Council for Medical Research, and Department of Biotechnology, which is a subsidiary of DST, or Department of Science and Technology, are looking for collaborative projects of not only individual excellence, but combined excellence, so that as a goal, they say finger can be broken, the fist has more power. So you should not only have say the low-hanging fruit projects, which are of your core independent enterprise, and also you should definitely look forward to collaborative projects, which will help you to establish as a center for excellence in your chosen field of vocation, and become a point of bring India to the point of point of excellence in the world map. This would be some of the few words with which I will slowly walk you through in the next 5 minutes with my simple presentation, which I have created for all of you. If I have your permission, may I start sharing the slide, please? Thank you. Are you able to see the slides, please?
Yes, yes.
Just let me make it, yeah. Is it full screen now?
Yeah.
Thank you. Please let me know if the slides are not moving. Is this moving now?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, great. So SRM takes research. So why research? This is something, why should a private university like SRM invest in research? One of the things which has become very mandatory for all the institutes, research institutes of academic excellence and research excellence to invest in research is you have what is called the NAC rankings and the NERF rankings. These are all national-based rankings, which every deemed university or a state university or a central university has to compete for, as is mandated by Government of India. And now, of course, the QS rankings have also come out. And so it is imperative that not only just academics, teaching, learning, methodologies, they are also equally important. But research is criteria 3 and is a very important and a serious tenet for evaluation of the institutional performance in terms of their capabilities to produce good research in terms of good output research. Second thing is good output research and good quality of research begets good grants, not only at national, and even at state level or at international levels. Now there are a lot of funding opportunities by BMGF and CHAI and so on and so forth. If the research quality is excellent, then that could also be an important avenue by which you can pursue your translational research. So The R&D infrastructure comprises of Molecular Diagnostics Center. This is very interesting story because when the epidemic started in 2020, in April, we got a call from government of Tamil Nadu that you have, do you have a dedicated virology lab which could help in BSL-3 plus virology lab, which could help in diagnosing or at least validating the COVID tests. So the SRM management took stock of the situation, and I'll show you the slides. They spent about 4.5 crores worth of money to invest on a molecular virology lab, which is BSL-3 plus, and I'll walk you through the slides in a while. And this consists of, look at the slides here, and this is the front entrance, and this is the way it is a BSL-3 plus facility. So all those who are working in microbiology, virology will have access, and there are dedicated -80 refrigerators to store the samples, process the samples. You have Coursera and different kinds of qPCRs to validate or check the human patient samples. There is a way by which they have sterilized and automated the process of sample processing, mixing, addition. This is the DBT platform, which I've been talking about. It has got a genomics facility, proteomics facility, molecular platforms, and bioimaging facility. And what the services are offered at a very nominal amount to all the faculty members to start their work. And these are all well-maintained instruments which were procured by SRM as a part of their SRM DBT platform grant. Recently, we have got a DST grant worth 14.4 crores. It's a PERS grant that is for electric vehicles, and it's in the area of engineering. If somebody is desires to be exposed more in that domain, since I'm from the biological domain, I'll put you in touch with the correct dean so that they can tell you about the expertise in the engineering domain more accurately. These are fluorescent microscopes, cryostats, bioanalyzers. This is something which is being developed, which is, like I told you, the transgenic facility for animal facility where mouse and rat are currently being housed. And we are also trying to develop like one of the strategic a component for the strategic MOU with Shankara Nethralaya is they need specific stereostatic devices to develop preclinical animal models for different kinds of ophthalmic disorders. And so we have those capabilities as well. And this is something which is, so in addition to the lab, we also formed the rationale for development of a Center for Clinical Trials and Research, because SRM was the site for phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 of Covaxin clinical trial, one of the sites. And Dr. Satyajit Mohapatra, who's an MD pharmacology and is the director of this clinical trial center, is now getting offers from different globally renowned companies to become the test center and the reporter of the drugs which are being tested in his center, which is currently a 8-bedded facility, but with the scope for improvement, is on the anvil. And as we talk, there are at least 7 to 9 drugs from different types on which different phases of trials are being initiated. This is basically the general overview of the facility and the clinical trial center. This is something which we feel is very important, not only for you, but also, and this is kind of the mandate for SRM, which has been enunciated by the management, that enhanced research output. So what we do is we try to encourage the students at undergraduate, like MBBS students or different kinds of courses, and postgraduate students, including MDs, research scholars, research associates, and postdoctoral fellows in consultation with their faculty mentors or guides to write papers or critique important papers in their domain of interest, which are published in Lancet, New England Journal of Medicine, Nature, Science, and so on, which can be critiqued and published. And this is just a kind of thing which I wanted to just let you know, so that because as they move to the next echelons in their career, having the raw currency of publications, the black and white currency, which is acceptable worldwide, and now these days, undue importance is made for Scopus Index journals. That is also taken into account. And this will basically help in not only keeping everyone inculcating. Many of you want to be scientific and educators, like especially in the field of STEM. So you will have a wonderful plethora of stakeholders in terms of your student community, which you can use to develop your interactive or interdisciplinary or your own field of thought, as I would say, because that's something all of you would be comfortable as you move forward in your life. This is something we believe, since many of you may be excellent teachers who are also would like to see that these learning outcomes, we are trying to develop policies which will come as a part of your academic ventures. And we have 6, in addition to a medical school, a full-fledged dental school, a physiotherapy school, an occupational therapy school, a nursing school, a school of public health, and basic and clinical departments, which are about 29 to 32 in number. So this is in a nutshell what I wanted to show. I'm going to stop sharing. And what I want to say is, I have said my piece on how you go about it. And I would like to now listen to you more about your apprehensions, your questions, as you decide to transition from a structured environment to a new environment where you will be your own boss. Because that is, I think, the most moot point why we are having this wonderful platform to have this conversation. Over to you. You can take address. I will try to address all the questions to the best of my limited capabilities. Remember, I may be a jack of all trades and not master of one. So if I do fail to adequately respond to your queries, Manali will give you my email ID, and you can directly correspond with me with a copy to Manali, so that Sci-ROI is a part of the conversation. And I will direct you to the appropriate technically competent person who will be able to appropriately answer your questions. Over to all of you, and thank you for joining. And I know it's early morning for all of you, or many of you, because you are in different time zones in the United States. So once again, thank you and a warm welcome, and I'll be more than happy to take questions.
Thank you, Dr. Janardhanan. That was really insightful. So what I would request everyone, if you have questions, if you could please raise your hand, and I mean, through Zoom, and then you can unmute yourself and ask any direct question. If you can't, just place it in the chat and I'll be more than happy to have it on behalf of you. So anyone can go first. Okay, Raja Raghupati, if you want to go ahead and ask.
Sir, you're on mute.
Yeah. Thank you, Professor Rajiv Janardhanan, for giving us a wonderful idea. Basically, I'm a genomics person and plant biologist, and I'm from Pondicherry, so I know the reputation of SRM. But what about plant biology that is related to medical science? For instance, we have a company in Canada called Medigago that produced vaccines for COVID in plant system. But I don't see any of the Indian system is initiating researchers. You are an eminent researcher, you will be knowing why you are always ignoring plant biology or plant.
Nobody's ignoring plant biology, sir. What I did not tell you was, we are in the process of having an MOU with all the disciplines of Ayush.
Yes.
That is Central Council for Research in Ayurveda.
Yes.
Central Council for Research in Homeopathy, Central Council for Research in Unani Medicine, and also Siddha, which is bang next to us. That's an intrinsic part of Tamil Nadu culture. This is something, Dr. Raja, it would be a very interesting avenue to use plant systems for developing vaccines. And if you are interested, I will definitely be willing to put you in touch with Dr. Satyajit Mahapatra, who might be willing to take up this opportunity as a challenge, because he has worked with Krishna Ella for developing and validating the human trial for the vaccine, Covaxin trials. And we should definitely take and actually involve excited researchers like you to take up this vendor, and we'll try to figure a strategy by which your primary appointment may be in biotechnology and bioengineering, and you will have access to facilities in the clinical trials unit. I think this is what probably you're looking for, and my job is to ensure that it happens.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you for listening to our request. No, I'm speaking on behalf of so many students here, you know. Yeah.
Dr. Raja, your point is well taken, because when I came from Mayo Clinic, I faced the same set of problems, because I went to a university which did not have a medical college. So even getting basic samples and tissues, since I was from a private university, we were looked upon differently by some of the central government funded institutes. So I have been through this process, and then it was a challenge to get private hospitals or corporate hospitals who had DSR certifications. So that's one of the primary reasons I transitioned into SRM, that they have their own medical college, group of medical colleges, including, like I said, a corporate hospital as well as in 2 different centers. So if you want a heterogeneous population within Tamil Nadu itself, we have to work to get you there, the patient samples, and we will connect you with the concerned physicians, and you can start your work in terms of that, and you will have access to all the facilities to see that in a subsidized way your project initiates quickly, so that you can wet your feet, as you say in the US parlance, with a very short gestational period, so that you're at home. Unless you are comfortable and you are provided the best of the solutions to the problems, there is without doubt you will have hesitancy. And what we would like to reiterate and tell you is, please come and visit us.
Okay, sure.
Please come and visit us. Please give us an opportunity. Please share your CVs also. And there will be some who may have expertise or ever, which may be meandering towards the engineering domain. I will connect personally. I take this responsibility of connecting you personally to the respective deans, and hope that you will have fruitful conversations, and we will try to track those conversations and take it to fruition. I hope I have answered your question.
Yeah, thank you very much, Professor Janardhanan, and thank you, Manali, for this wonderful opportunity to network.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, Dr. Priya. Kindly unmute yourself.
Hi, can you hear me, Dr.?
Loud and clear.
Yes, perfect. Thank you very much for this wonderful talk and your time. I have 2 set of questions. One is like, how much SRM in research is giving important for basic research? I kind of understand that the funding is very low. I mean, the funding is very critical amount, so we have to spend more on the applied and translational research. But how much is you give importance when you hire a basic researcher?
Madam,
and second question, sorry.
Go ahead.
So what are the important criteria when you set for hiring a new researcher inside your institute?
Your academic credentials, your academic excellence, your academic excellence.
My academic excellence.
No, I'm talking. I'm talking generally for a postdoctoral fellow.
Okay.
So there are no other criteria. Your academic and research excellence is of primary importance. We are interested in transitioning you to a career. First, you will be comfortable before you are willing to take impossible challenges and make them possible. And that's the route. That's the only route we are going to be able to get the correct, because you have spent invested quite a few years of your life to get certain amount of technical excellence. And if you want to harness that excellence there is nothing called basic and applied. The applied sciences have their tenets and roots in the basic science. So once you have the perceptions and your goals clear, and your basics are absolutely grounded, you can always tweak and change the research according to the verve and the need of the hour. So what is most important is the kind of enterprise you bring to your resume or brought out in your resume or the scheme of the things. And we are interested in enterprising people like you who would transition into wonderful careers. This is what our hope is. That's why I'm here.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
So skill sets are important. The core area of research is important, but if your excellence in terms of research and academic credentials are really good, that should not be criteria.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Priya. Yes, Dr. Uma, or...
Hi.
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, Dr. Pranav. Go ahead.
Yeah, thanks. So very nice presentation. So I am basically following the SRM research from last 3-4 years. My background is nanotechnology. So currently I'm a postdoc in nanobiotechnology in South Texas Cancer Research Institute. So I have two questions. One question is that what is basically the timeline for applying any Ramanujan or Ramalingam fellowship?
I think it is throughout the year.
Yeah.
If I'm correct, Manali may correct me, it's throughout the year, but they are evaluated in certain time frames. This is what my understanding. So it might be a good idea to, if it depends on how and when you want to transition. So they are evaluated if I'm correct. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, actually, like my personal plan is to come by next August kind of thing. So like what exactly can be the ideal timeline for me to apply for those kind of fellowships?
Sir, you can always initiate the proceedings now by talking to your faculty mentor. Since you are from Faculty of Nanobiotechnology, we would try to get the best faculty who can act as your faculty mentor and interim person. And you can exchange ideas, and also because we have very strong liaison with DST, and many of the esteemed senior people at SRM also sit on the boards, so they may be able to give you a better idea how to tweak your proposal. And it does take time. It does not happen. You may have this thing, but when you shape up a proposal, just like you write a grant, NIH or any other NSF grant, it does take time. So I think now is the best time. You can start and you can plan, and it gives you enough time to do it rather than a rushed way of 2 or 3 week process where you feel you may not have given the best things. So it might be a best idea is to connect and collect, and you may look at the SRM website of Department Institute of Nanobiotechnology to see who is the best mentor who fits with your correct scheme of interdisciplinary research, which you are keen on, and let me know. And you can please take my email from Dr. Manali, and then we can connect you with the right set of people, and then hopefully that. And another thing I would like to bring to your kind attention, if you are desirous of directly applying for faculty positions also, we will consider your applications if your academic credentials and research output are very good. So that is something I just thought that I should bring it to the attention, that it's not just Ramalingaswami or Ramanujan fellows. It is also direct entry faculty positions, which would be also permitted. I hope I have answered your question, Dr.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Umakant Sharma.
Anji, Dr.
Hi. I'm research assistant professor in University of Miami here.
Okay.
I'm here from last 10 to 11 years.
Right.
So first of all, thank you for briefing about SRM University and its collaboration from different funding agencies and top institutes in India.
My pleasure.
Yeah. So I would like to, give a suggestion to the previous speaker too about the fellowship timelines. They have fellowships on very specific times. So yes, you are also correct. Like they all over the year, they used to, ask for the.
They're evaluated in specific time frames. I think it's usually twice a year, if I'm correct. Once in July or August, something like that, and sometime towards the later half of the year, or early half of the something like that. But usually it is around July, August is the place where most of the evaluations happen. The results may come later, but this is what I have been made to understand. I could be wrong. Please correct me if I'm wrong.
No, but Ramalinga Fellowship, actually, they do not allow you to send the application all over.
Ramalingaswami has a specific deadline. That's correct. But Ramanujan Fellowship, you can apply all throughout the year. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else, Dr. Sharma?
Yeah. I'm coming to my point, actually. It is just like for
if you could kindly also turn your camera on, that would be nice. I would have
yes.
the name.
Sorry. I thought
no. Please,
I already.
No.
I thought I already turned it on, but
that's
I couldn't. Okay.
That's fine. It happens.
Yes. So Yes. So and then about what I want to know is actually. So you told me that you have like many campuses of SRM in all over India. So which campuses mainly focuses on biological sciences? Because I work on microbiome in HIV and IBD and few HIV associated cancers.
Sir, your best bet is the primary campus in Chennai, which will be best suited for your capabilities because we have got well-advanced systems. The other campuses are satellite campuses, take some time to develop the same level of infrastructure. So if it's okay with you, then you should definitely aim for Chennai, which is the, the flagship campus of SRM, if I may add.
Okay, because I'm more interested in, like you said, patient samples, basically.
Definitely. Definitely. That would be a good place to start your work.
Okay. And if I'm interested, then who should be the contact person?
Send it to me.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Send it to me with a copy to Dr. Manali so that Sci-ROI is in the picture.
Yeah.
And I prefer transparency in all our communications. That's why I'm always telling that since Sci-ROI is giving you the pedestal or platform to make communication. So please send it and I will forward it to Vice Principal and Dr. Leela, who's also the chair of Department of Microbiology. And we can then take it further. And please do elaborate your publications, which should be commensurate with your problem statement. What I generally tell to all the postdocs is just a one-page statement. This is something I was also asked to do. 3 projects. One may be your bread and butter project, where you have a simple problem statement, rational in 4-5 lines leading to a central objective, and then with 2 objectives and expected outcome, 1-page statement for 2 or 3 areas, so that we get a sense of what is your vast repertoire of experience, if you understand what we want to say. And so one way or the other, what are the various ways we can engage you in research, and also based on your competencies, also expect you to take a few classes if that's okay with you.
No, I love teaching actually.
Wonderful. So I guess that's all. That resolves a huge problem as far as I'm concerned.
I do that here too, actually.
Thank you. Yeah, you are a faculty position, holding a faculty. So teaching is an important component of the faculty.
Of course.
Yes.
And more than important, I actually volunteer myself.
Thank you.
For teaching.
I understand that.
Yeah. No, thank you. So is there any particular form for that, or I can just formally
you send email to me with a copy to Manali, and let me vet, and preferably with 3 different pages which are showing 3 different grant plans or ideas, as you may say, that when you land, what would be the easiest grant for you to apply to different funding agencies. So that will actually set as a huge the mark and as well as the benchmark for your further growth in the SRM fraternity. So the management as well as the experts, which we will eventually be part of your interview process, would have an easy idea how to guide you, mentor you, and so that your transition is fruitful and successful. This is something all the postdocs look forward, and I have been through this grind. And I realized that Rome was not built in a day. And when somebody is translocating from one place to another, there are a few ifs and buts always. And we should try our best to this one. So we should definitely try to take care of all these things.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Can I chime in, Dr. Janardhanan, if that's okay?
Sure.
I was going to say it at the end, but because a lot of questions are coming up now. So what I will do from my end is after this webinar, we'll send the recording and the presentations that Dr. Janardhanan was talking about again to all the attending people. And I will CC Dr. Janardhanan. So when you send back a response, please just, send it to him and feel free to CC Sci-ROI, and you can add your resume, whatever information you would like him to look at. So that will be just easy for you to directly communicate, if that's all right.
Thank you, Manali.
Yeah.
I think Dr. Vijay.
Yeah, Dr. Vijay.
Good evening to you and good morning to Manali. And thank you for putting this together, Manali. So piggybacking along the teaching question, so if a faculty comes with an RLS or a Ramanujan fellowship, is there a reduction in the teaching load when they're setting up the...
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
So how many, in general, how many courses do a faculty teach in a semester?
You see, it depends on the grade in which you come in. And if you're going to be brought in as a research faculty, which is going to be probably one of the things, we will ease you into the system and so that make you comfortable for a semester or two, so that you have a feel of the system and as well as basically an idea about what SRM is and what are the facilities, and also more importantly, getting your feet in terms of your research work and collaborators. So that amount of freedom will definitely be there, so as to enable you to transition correctly into this ecosystem, the Indian ecosystem, re-enter and fructify your research credentials and potentials in the Indian ecosystem. And that's very important.
If I have another question, if I may.
Oh, please do.
So you did mention that if you take faculties from the non-Ramalingaswami Ramanujan fellowship, in that case, does SRM give a startup grant or anything of that sort, or is it up to us then to bring the funding?
A good question. I think those questions would be answered when, if you apply for a direct faculty position, and you can make that request, and that request will be entertained by the interview board based on the, let's say, the importance of your topic from national or whichever perspective it is, that how it adds value to the whole ecosystem. They may even give you funds to, like we had a person who came from Scripps Institute some 7-8 years ago, and the management spent 2.5 crores then to establish a translational medical lab. So, it's the way you are going to portray your case as to how, because I think we are fairly well equipped. And so the equipment usage facility value, if it is given to you, I think that should be more important than having everything cornered in your, because we are, remember, we are a private university and we are 100% self-funded. So, the best approach would be that instead of having all the equipments, you may ask for a few which would have central facilities. And like I am trying to establish a primary stem cell culture institute, stem cell culture facility for primary cell culture, for co-culture experiments, including pathogens, and then also trying to see stem cell, cardiomyocyte, cancer stem cells, and so on and so forth. That takes time. The idea is to create for people like you to come, that you're not waiting for things to happen, that you can get your feet wet and you can try to start doing some work while you're writing and completing your papers, which are transitioning, as you transition to a full-fledged faculty position. So that depends. And I think we are reasonably well equipped in terms of equipment. So it should not be a problem. What we can try to facilitate for these people is, again, it would be the decision of the management as well as the selection board. I may or may not be a part of that committee, because it depends on how let's say if there are many applications based on the specific criteria, we may have multiple boards on which people will sit, and then we take a collective decision. And So we'll be fair to you. That's what I want to tell. I understand your concerns and from where you come from, and we will definitely ensure that your transitioning would be comfortable, if I can say that. I hope that answers your question. I cannot put an empirical term or a figure to how much can be given. That also depends on, a person-to-person case, how best you portray in case that this is the need of the hour and this would add value, and the management would take definitely a favorable view of how you how they want to support you as you transition into your career. Yes.
Thank you, and quite reassuring.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I've been through this grind, and I honestly did not have a mentoring platform or a support system. So whatever I'm telling, I've burnt quite a few fingers, quite a few of my 10 fingers in the process of transitioning in India. So I understand your concerns. My transitioning was more abrupt than yours was. So be rest assured that yeah, I've been there and done that. I've burnt my fingers quite a lot before I'm making such commitments. So as far as I'm concerned, if I cannot provide that kind of a reassurance for you, then how can I expect academic excellence and increased and enhanced research output from the Indian soil? These are the investments I can make so long as I'm sitting in the chair. So I believe that sooner or later the shift is you're going to occupy my chair, and hopefully some young person will be sitting on the other side like you are, and that's how the chain goes. And we are what we are in terms of the good and proactive investments we make. So I will not make any commitments, but I will definitely, based on your individual or collective cases, make the strong recommendations to the management to help you, support you in your transition endeavor. Yeah, I hope that is reassuring enough. Thank you so much, Dr. Vijay. Next question, please.
Greetings to everyone. Thank you, sir. Thank you. That's awesome information that you have given about SRM. So I know I heard from many people about SRM. So it's doing great work in the field of research. Mm-hmm. So right now I have a question because I work on developmental biology field. Mm-hmm. So I'm more concerned about the transgenic animals and conditional knockout.
We have we are developing transgenic, but there is a Dr. Jesu Arokyaraj, you can check. He is working on zebrafish models as well. So I hope some of your concerns would be allayed, because zebrafish is also an equally well-developed model for the developmental studies. And when I was at Mayo, we had Dr. Steve Ecker, who is an internationally renowned person, using developmental fish to answer several of the vascular biology questions. So I'm sure those things are already there, and we can do it. And transgenic, like I told you, like there are a lot of permissions and requisitions which have to be obtained before you can have your own breeding colonies in transgenic breed. We are in the process. The infrastructure is there, and hopefully very soon we will be in a position to start the transgenic experiments and also gene knockout, as you are telling. So yes, the future is bright, and I'm sure with your entry, if you desire to choose SRM, definitely that will push the case for quicker turnover rates at a much faster time. Yes, sir.
That's a great answer to me. Thank you, sir. And one more thing is that we have different branches like in Haryana, Delhi, Amravati, and Sikkim. Yeah. So my question is that, so is this animal facility specifically located
currently? Yeah, currently it is in Chennai. Yes, because these are satellite campuses. Trust me, these are all young universities, and it takes time to develop these kind of enterprises. And Chennai being, this is a campus which is developed over almost 40 years. So, a campus which is origins of 40 years vis-a-vis 10 or 15 or 20 years, where it's trying to get a grip on the course curriculum and also the research faculty. It's not that they don't have. The focus is usually more on the engineering side, where the turnover rates of research paper is pretty higher than the biological side. But as I talk, definitely it's going to be there. They are building, but if you want the state-of-art facilities which are used in the United States, I think your Chennai campus is your best bet to start your transition process. I hope I have answered successfully. decently.
Great. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, Dr. Rupak. I'm sorry, Dr. Balaji. Go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Janardhanan, for all the information. So I have a couple of questions and concerns. So I did my postdoc from McGill University, Canada, and I just came to India last week. And I'm trying to looking for as a PI and start my own lab. And my preference is at Chennai. And since I'm working on a bioengineering field, I want to know how good SRM is in collaborating with both the engineering side and the medical field, so that we can. The main concern is that because I did my PhD at IIT Madras, and after from IIT Madras, I moved to McGill University, and I saw how much vast difference in the way of research and how the collaboration and communication is going on. And I just want to know how SRM is in collaborating or having
Can I cite my own example? Because I do work with engineers, computer science engineers, electrical engineers, mechanical engineers, to name a few. And yes, so one of the things which we are trying to seek the help of engineers is, SRM is located on a highway. I'll just give you an example. And every year around the festivals, when people are a little bit high, and I won't use any inappropriate words, there are a lot of accidents. And people come with a repository of, oromaxillofacial injuries. We are trying to build a database, a heuristic algorithm, first of all, a database to understand what are the patterns and processes, how, like when the patients walk in, what are the kinds of diagnosis, what are the kinds of interventions they are afforded to, what are the kind of injuries commonly found and what are the kinds of background histories they have, and which render which particular teeth vulnerable to which kind of injury. Okay, but it's a compression accident. Different accidents are always of different types, and I'm not well versed with that accident nomenclature, but we are in the process of developing an interactive dashboard. So that would be giving a rationale for pre-COVID and post-COVID era. So how the patterns are changing, and they have changed. Trust me. And we have got currently the first quarter results, and what is encouraging is the people are, regular people for dental clinics and dental washings and regular dental complaints have started coming back, which had gone down significantly during the burst of COVID era, which existed for 1.5 years. In addition, we have partnerships, strategic partnerships with Zoho, Tata, and several companies. Bioengineering is a very vibrant department with a lot of industry partnerships and collaborations. And I don't think you will have any problem in getting strategic partnerships and collaborations. If you are based out of Chennai, do schedule an appointment, not the next week, maybe the week after that. If you're still around in Chennai, you can come and meet me, and I will point you, or rather connect you with the correct HOI of the biomedical engineering department. And you can take the conversation forward.
Thank you very much. And I have another question also, like what's the process of the faculty recruitment and the timeline?
Again, it's a very interesting question. There is always a need for faculty because for every institute, attrition is a common thing. We don't have much of attrition, but then we are always looking for faculty who are bringing newer and skill sets as well as avenues of expertise, which would broaden and increase the breadth of the veritable expertise which SRM brethren or faculty has. So in that connection, Dr. Balaji, your kind of combinatorial skill sets would be a welcome asset. And you may be an asset to one school of thought while creating a base to open your own school of thought in future. So that's actually an easier way rather than trying to reinvent the wheel in one go, that get associated to jumpstart with a few projects so that you get your feet wet. And then, slowly as you get more and more funding and independent funding, like which you are predominantly interested in from industry or from the nodal agencies of Government of India, you will definitely make way into a wonderful and successful career. I hope I have answered your question.
Yes, thank you very much.
You're welcome. So it's an individual thing, and depending on the need, and this is probably the best time to apply, because the next academic session starts in August, and this is where all the HOIs are pitching in for their requests for additional faculty who want to go directly and so on. So if you are serious about getting hired, I think faster the better, so that you also have time and and also the amount of time to relocate and change, and also complete your pending researches in your previous institute, so that nothing is left out in the lurch. Okay. Yes, Dr. Rupa.
Yeah, so I'm thank you, Manali, for organizing this, and thank you, sir, for giving us the overview. Wonderful. I'm a postdoc in Princeton in physics, not in biology.
No problem.
And I was wondering how SRM is interested in expansion in physics, or what are the possibilities in physics.
I will connect you with the current the dean in that particular area. He's Dean of Research, Dr. Napoleon, and he's in the top 2% scientists of which was being revealed by Stanford recently, I think last year, late last year. And he'll point you to the correct person who will be able to give you valuable insights into your chosen area, domain of interest. I am not well versed, and I will not make the mistake of, let's say, misguiding you politely. So do keep in touch with me, and Manali has my email ID, and do have a problem statement, as well as, like I said, it would be nice to have 2 or 3 areas of one-page researches which you have, and then the facilities you are asking for, and also what are your individualized or specific questions are. I can direct them to the specific dean, so that you get an appropriate, and connect you, more importantly, with the specific dean, so that they are able to take the questions and resolve them amicably to your satisfaction as well.
Yeah, sure. And maybe if I may, one more.
That's
so my personal work is more in the computational aspects for nuclear fusion that I'm doing here. But for that, I need a cluster, like computational facilities. So how are the computational?
We do have a school of computing.
Great.
Which has got 10,000 students, and it's got a lot of networks and all those things.
Perfect.
The engineering component of the work is not exactly my field of strength. I do work with engineers, not necessarily, but to allay your primary concerns, it's not that we're just sitting out in desert. We do have some competencies which may not match the same levels of Princeton, but that doesn't mean that we are nowhere. We are there, and we'll be more than happy to augment those if the management feels that they want to work with you to your satisfaction. So that the whole idea is why I'm sitting here is I've been through this rut, and I want to see that so long as I have a certain position, and if there are like enterprising individuals who want to develop an independent career back home as they transition, they should be given a comfortable platform where they can definitely make use of it, and hopefully make a difference and fulfill their aspirations. It should not be a disgruntling experience. So, because sometimes what you endure may be one part of the story, and it's better that we always harp on the positive sides of the
Okay, thanks. Manali, can I get your email address so that I can write to you to get me connected with Professor Rajiv?
Yeah, I will be sending all the registered participants the recording, as well as CC Dr. Janardhanan. So yeah. So you'll get that soon.
Oh, very good. Thanks.
Thank you. Yes, Dr. Satyamurthy.
Good evening, Professor. Thanks for having the session. It's very informative. So my question is about 2 things. One is like, I applied for an Inspire Fellowship in India. So SRM is hosting Inspire Fellows?
I think so. I think so, but I will get back to you correctly. Please send your query through Manali to me, and I'll be more than happy to. Like I said, if I'm not correct, or if I'm not, let's say, 100% confident, I will not misguide you. I will get back to you with correct information so that you, I, and Manali all are rest assured.
Okay, sure. Actually, I applied as an individual. We can apply as a, like, if host institute is ready to...
Usually, it is a good practice to have an host institute, so that the host institute has also got strategic alliances with different funding agencies, and they are favorably looked upon. But there have been cases where individually postdoctoral fellows or junior faculty position people, based on their academic and research output, have made it, and then they are given the option of quickly choosing the host institute. Whichever way you feel is convenient is, first of all, the most important thing is your comfort levels. I think we are all old enough to know that what we are comfortable with, and where we have a smile to receive us, and give us an enabling environment to ensure that we are motivated to translate and make our aspirations come true. I think that should be the problem statement where we should focus on, rather than this meandering around. These things, technicalities can be taken care of once there is a mutual accord and a point of interest in pursuing a career.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Actually, what happens in the interview is, like, if we already give the host institute, the probability of selection is more, because we already aligned with the host institute. But if in case, if they are asking me in the interview, is host institute ready for you? I just want to represent some institute like SRM, because it's having I'm a biomedical background, so I need a clinical hospital, as you said. As you worked on Mayo Clinic, I also need a, I also need a
feel free to contact us. Please
okay.
Feel free to contact us and forward your problem statement, your research and academic output through, of course, in association with Manali. And we will forward it to the correct persons to see that your queries and your interests are taken care of, if I may put it politely.
Thank you. Thank you
so much. All right, Dr. Satya?
Yeah, fine. Thank you.
Pleasure. Thank you so much. Anybody else?
I see a question in the chat from Khaja about, could you please discuss a little bit about cardiovascular research platform in SRM?
Okay, what kind of cardiovascular disease?
Khaja, if you want to speak up or maybe write in the chat. General.
Okay. So we have a department of cardiology, both at all the three hospitals. So if you're looking for phenotypic conversions, if you're looking for genotypic basis, loci-based experimental work can happen. We have NGS and all the tools, latest equipments to do confocal, different kinds of, we are also trying to get a live cell imager and all those kinds of things to see that your kind of, it depends on what is the kind of problem statement you have. Like I said, SRM-DBT platform can practically use everything, all the kind of equipments and expertise that we have. But if you have a specific problem statement which requires a specialized research facilities, do let us know. I mean, in general, yes, it is there. I myself work in the area of cardiovascular disease and cancer diseases because I worked in the area of angiogenesis. So I'll just share something I shared with Manali a while ago. We are trying to look into a case for women. There is a huge rise in the incidence of gestational diabetes in pregnant women in India. And surprising that earlier it was restricted to mostly the urban milieux, and now it is also coming in semi-urban and rural milieux as well. So what we are trying to do is trying to figure out how the abdominal obesity, which increases as the trimesters increase from first to second to third, is contributing to the increased, let's say, G2M through polarization of certain, or let's say, use of certain immune system mechanisms, which could be used as theranostic targets, that is point of targets to develop novel immunosurveillance strategies. So that way what happens is we are whatever is a prognostic target for either disease survival or resistance can be also used for surveillance as well. So that way we are able to, like, I've had discussions with many cancer centers. I'll just take the example of a cancer center since it's also a vascular disease. They say that there are so many walking, talking bombs in the community. Like, I'll give you a good example. I work with cardiologists, an eminent cardiologist who's a Padma Shri in Delhi. And we did a health camp in a slum of South Delhi of 500 individuals apparently having good cardiovascular health. And surprisingly, we found obesity to be a disease driver, because 1 in every 2 individuals, and I am a basic scientist, and my collaborator was an electrical engineer from IIT Kharagpur. And when we presented it in a conference of cardiologists way back in 2018, that is the annual meeting of cardiology, we got the best poster, because this is the kind of community-based evidences which are lacking in India currently. So it depends on what kind of research you want to do. You want to do some high-end genomic tool-based research. We have the verve and facilities. What is most important is the strength of the problem and what is the relevance of the problem to the Indian context. I think those are some things which are more important than the tools and facilities. I hope I have answered your question, Dr. Shamim.
Okay. Any last minute questions before we wrap up today's session?
Manali, before we wrap up, if everybody could kindly open their webcams, because I can have a photograph to show to my management that I interacted with all of you. And I can type my email for all of you. If you want to connect with me, I'll just, this is my email. Yep. And you can call me. And please do CC Manali on the email so that she also is a part of the group. Manali, please do the favors. I'm not great at tech, so if you can just take a pic and share the pic. Thank you so much, everyone, for being a part of this conversation. Please feel free to contact me, and when I respond, I'll also share my mobile number, which is open 24/7, and so we can have WhatsApp calls, and we can definitely take the conversation from there. It's been a pleasure having. Pleasure knowing you, talking to you, and let's take the conversation forward and see that all of you, we are able to give you an enabling platform to see that you are transitioning into successful careers, fulfilling your aspirations. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Janardhanan. I'll just take 1 minute because I know all of you are interested in re-entry fellowships. So Sci-ROI does do grant writing workshops for re-entry fellowships. So I wanted to just a minute. So actually, like this next month, or I guess in June, we are going to have a fellowship, a grant writing workshop on the Ramanujan fellowship. So as I wrote in the chat, we already had one for Ramalingaswami last year. So please check out the recording on our YouTube channel. But on June 4th of this year, we'll be having a similar one where we invite successful recipients who go through the entire process of writing the fellowship and all the other things involved, right? How did they approach the host institute, and if anything, any X factor, they thought had helped their fellowship application, for example. We also have a host institute who talks about the criteria they follow, like as Dr. Janardhanan mentioned about SRM IST today. And we also have a representative from, in this case, we'll have someone from SCRB who will be talking about the criteria that they look at for a successful recipient. So if you're really interested in applying this year to for a Ramanujan fellowship, do join us on June 4th. We will be opening the registrations maybe 2 weeks before. So just keep an eye on our website or follow us on our social media platforms, and you'll get to know about that soon. So with that, thank you so much, everyone, for joining, and really big thanks to Dr. Janardhanan. You talked for almost an hour alone, which is a big feat. Okay. So thank you, and it's a Friday evening, so really appreciate it.
So I would it's perfectly fine. Tomorrow is, see, we work 6 days a week, so it's not a problem. What is more important is, we are what we are in terms of the investments we make when we hold certain positions. And, you know, I would honestly, if I don't set a good example for my fellow brothers who are now in the process of transitioning, I set a bad example for people when they are in my holding in my chair. It's a rigmarole, that's something there. So they should have positive experiences to make the same kind of changes for their juniors when they approach them for the statement. That's how this brethren is all about. And we have knowledge and we have wisdom. And as you grow older, I think you basically need to calm down and be more humane. I think being human is more important than any of the things. And I wish you the very best as you transition and fulfill your aspirations to become an independent investigator. And do keep in touch with us if you feel that SRM is a wonderful, would be a good platform to help you to actually fulfill your aspirations, if I may say. Thank you so much for your time. Have a wonderful day and a great weekend.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Raj. Thank you, Manali.
Have a good weekend. Bye.
You too. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.